It's week number 2 of our Tournament of Champions. Last weekend we saw Hawk Halas advance.
It's really a good match and came right down to the 9th and 10th frames of the third and final game when Hawk Halas put together a couple of marks and left Rich Clark behind. And now Joe Ashline stands by. He's a bowler right here at Leda Lanes and a very popular one at that.
Let's meet our participants in this, the second week of our Tournament of Champions. First, last week's winner and our 7th seed going in, Rich Hawk Halas from Revere.
Last week, Hawk Halas had 381, his current league average 127, a high single of 202, high triple of 486. He does his bowling in East Boston at Central Park Lanes.
And last week, of course, he eliminated Rich Clark, who is from Bedford, and he'll be taking on Hawk Halas, our 5th seed, and that is Joe Ashline from right here at Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire.
Joe Ashline coming into today's competition with a current season league average of 122. His high single is 203, one of the few bowlers that can claim an over 200 high single. High triple, 505, which is a record for this house.
And Joe won our second ladder series, defeating Tom Morgan in the championship match, 388 to 368. It's week 2. The Tournament of Champions is underway. We'll be back with today's match in just a moment as Candlepin Stars and Strikes continues on WNDS TV 50. We'll be right back. There you see the 7 bowlers that started our Tournament of Champions. Last week it was number 7, Rich Halas, eliminating 6th seed Rich Clark. Number 5, Joe Ashline, is next in line, and it'll be Hawk Halas leading us off in our match this afternoon from Leda Lanes in Nashua as the Tournament of Champions continues. Seesaw match last week with Rich Clark and Halas pulling away at the end.
2 marks. He got him when he had to. He had only a 5-pin lead going into the final 2 frames, and essentially he shut the door. He had his fate in his own hands, had a pair of spares.
And that's an opening miss right there in the very first box that Hawk would like to have back again. With 7-pin with some wood, and he threw it past it, missing the spare opportunity. Still shaking his head about it, too. Well, you can't look back. You've got to try to forget that in a big hurry and get on with it. This time a half Worcester on the left side.
You really can't dwell on the past, Dick, because you figure he's starting out at the very last seed, number 7, and he's got a long way to go. He's got to focus all the energy in a forward situation and not looking back at things like that.
For Halas and a 19 through 2. Now we get our look at Joe Ashline from right here in Nashua. Joe won the 2nd ladder series. Beating Tom Morgan in the championship match. He was the number 1 seed, and he starts out with a spare. That 2nd ladder series started out with Steve Vadney defeating Sean Baker. Then it was Tom Morgan ousting Vadney, and then Morgan beating Jeff Atkins 412 to 392. That 392 bowled by Atkins, the highest losing triple score in our ladder series. And then it was Ashline over Morgan 388 to 368 in the championship match. And a quick 3-pin lead for Ashline through the first 2 boxes. Next up the ladder, Jay Leach, the 4th seed.
Who, by the way, also bowls out of Leda Lanes. So it is possible it could be Ashline and Leach, both gentlemen from this bowling center. The origination of Candlepin Stars and Strikes for our first season this year, and we hope many, many to come. They've been just tremendously gracious hosts.
Owner Ray Simino and manager Sean Howard. Official scorer Chris Beauvais, all representing Leda Lanes. And as we've mentioned so many times in the past, and We mention it again. They go out of their way to accommodate the fans that come to our telecasts for the taping sessions. Here's a nice spare picked up by Halas in the third frame. Halas, 46 years old. He's a courier for Federal Express. He and his wife Linda have 2 children, Colby 13 and Courtney 9. And on our form we ask our bowlers what their hobbies are, and Hawk's response, none currently. He's so busy working, no time for softball anymore. I can relate to that.
And that's pretty much the same with Joe Ashline, who's got 3 children, 2 of whom are playing hockey. And he's bowling less, and he'll readily admit his average has somewhat suffered as a result. But the priorities are the kids, as I suppose it should be.
9 box for Hawk and 45 through 4. Now 37-year-old Joe Ashline, who's in sales for Advocom Electronics. He and his wife Robin have 3 children, Derek 8, Cody 6, and Amanda 4. And another spare for Joe. And as Mike said, Joe heavily involved with his kids, as his 2 young sons are heavily into hockey and baseball, and Joe coaches both sports. That takes up at least 30 hours every day.
And we won't even get into the money.
Joe working on the spare, puts 8 in it, and has another spare opportunity.
We're mentioning the ages of our bowlers, Dick. Our first trivia question today to you and for everybody at home watching and listening today.
Ooh, we just picked the 4 off the 7.
What is the average age of the bowlers that we've seen during the regular season? Candlepin Stars and Strikes. We'll let you think about that for a couple minutes.
Joe Ashline with 49 through 4, a 4-pin advantage over Halas. The average age. Halas on the head pin.
It's a little lower than I myself estimated before I did the math on it.
Hawk again surveying the wood as it rolls in front.
Not good wood.
You can tell by the expression on his face he wasn't really thrilled with it. And that's why, right there.
The roadblock again wins. The 2-4-5 remain.
$10 and 55. Halas bowls out of Central Park Lanes in East Boston. He's been bowling for 38 of his 46 years. A high single of 202, a high triple 486. He won the 4th ladder series, defeating Rich Lottie in the championship match 337 to 320. That 337 was the lowest winning score of all our ladder series, and he puts a spare in the 6th box. Ashline leaving the 1 and the 10 with some wood. That should take it. 3rd mark of the 1st string for Joe Ashline.
He doesn't waste much time. Gets up there and lets it fly. Always been one of the harder throwing Candlepin bowling professionals. I heard him yell uh-oh when he let it go, but he got a pretty good break, leaving just the 1, 2, and the 4, and filling his 5th frame spare with a 7.
Looks good from here. 2 marks in a row, 4 marks in 6 boxes for Joe Ashline. Now Halas working on a spare. Finds himself trailing by about 10 pins in the match.
Leaving the 5, 7, 8, and the 9.
80 through 7 for Hawk Halas.
Have you decided what the average age of our bowlers is?
I've been thinking about it. I would say early 30s, 34.
My guess would have been 40. The correct answer is 37.65. Throw the fraction in there. 37, the almost 38, the average age of our bowlers this past season.
Put it right on the head pin and didn't get the break. A 9 box for Hawk. 89 through 8. Now Joe Ashline, who has the lead in this first string, now adds to it with this first ball.
And a chance at bonus money with a mark.
Speaking of bonus money, we have $1,175 in our triple strike carryover. And our bonus ball contest at the end of the match now has $60.
The odd thing is we nearly had a winner last week. Hawk Halas threw 2, and the postcard that was selected had 3. It'll never happen again.
That's a $50 shot for Joe Ashline. He played the wood instead of taking the pin head on. 5 marks in 7 boxes for Ashline. Right on the head pin. He'll take 6. A 21 pin lead in the match. And he does not convert.
He does get the pins to jump, though, doesn't he, with all that velocity? A simple 6 and 10 in the corner.
22 pin lead for Joe Ashline after 8 boxes of our first string. This is the Tournament of Champions on Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV 50. Dick Lutz with Mike Morin and our entire WNDS TV 50 crew here at Leda Lanes in Nashua.
Four horsemen on the left side and the 9 pin in the back row for Hawk Halas. Can't get that pin to spin over, take out the 4-7.
Speaking of our TV 50 crew, we are being directed today by Larry Taylor, filling in for Vic Cross. On audio is Ivo Carmeli. On tape is Dave McCarthy. Working graphics, Kevin LaFawn. Video being manned by Paul Hunter, and our camera crew of Steve Giordani, Bob Dold, and Gary Van Nortwick. All here working for you at Leda Lanes in Nashua, making our telecasts possible every week and doing a great job too. A lot goes on behind the scenes that you never see, but it takes quite a bit to put these telecasts together, and these guys do a great job week after week.
Disappointing start for Hawk Halas. Just 2 marks in this first game.
.107 for Hawk. Well, Joe Ashline already has a lead with 2 boxes to go in the string.
Holds the Leda Lanes record for triple at 505.
That's the 6th mark of the first string for Joe Ashline. He stands to carry a big lead into the second string. He threw it past the head pin and takes a 5-pin fill in the spare.
There's a break for Halas. Keep it within pretty close to 30 pins.
A 134, so it's a 27-pin lead for Joe Ashline as we head to Game 2 in this Tournament of Champions match from Leda Lanes in Nashua, as Candlepin Stars and Strikes continues on WNDS TV 50. Joe Ashline takes a 27-pin lead into the second game of this match with Hawk Halas in our Tournament of Champions at Leda Lanes in Nashua. Dick Lutz with Mike Morin. We're so happy that you took part of your day to spend with us and watch our bowlers who work so hard week after week. I don't think a lot of people realize the effort that these guys put forth every week.
It is, and it's lots and lots of years and a lot of money spent practicing and traveling around on various leagues and tournaments. Tough to recoup your money because there's not as much money in Candlepin certainly as there is in 10-pin because of the localization of the game, but we're putting up over $3,000 for the bowlers in this Tournament of Champions.
10 bucks for Joe Ashline to start out the second string.
Our runner-up today does take home $150, which is 10% of the first prize of $1,500. Gary Carrington will sit atop and take on whoever gets there after the first 5 weeks.
Spare opportunity for Joe right here. And he takes advantage. Now Hawk Halas finds himself in a bit of a hole as he starts the second string, trailing by 27 pins. But as we've seen many times over the course of the first 28 weeks of the regular season, if you will, in the Tournament of Champions, big leads can be eaten up in very short order.
It is a very humbling game. There's no question about it. Don't ever get too cocky. There'll be somebody there waiting to knock you off.
Well, Hawk almost made the big spare there, but has to settle for a 10 box. Next time you're in the Nashua area, why not stop by the Halas Chinese Restaurant and Lounge right next door to Leda Lanes in Nashua. They have a terrific luncheon buffet, which we enjoy every time we come to the Leda Lanes establishment. Here's Hawk with a strike. Big strike for Hawk. He was right on the head pin, and they went down in a hurry as you watch it again. Good mixing action for Hawk Halas. And the strike to answer Ashline's spare in the second box. Now Ashline with 7 on the spare. Tell you more about the Halas luncheon buffet with so many different items on it that you'll have a tough time choosing. There's a spare for Joe. 2 marks in a row for Joe Ashline. So the next time you're in the Nashua area and you find yourself hungry for Chinese food, stop by the Halas Chinese Restaurant and Lounge. They'll put your order up to go, or you can seat yourself in the dining area. And if you are working in the area, they'll deliver in the Nashua area as well. The phone number is 603-889-5200. 889-5200. If you're coming from the south on the Everett Turnpike, take exit 7W. If you're coming from the Manchester area, it's exit 8 to the Halas Chinese Restaurant and Lounge right next door to Leda Lanes on Amherst Street in Nashua. Well, Joe missed the opportunity for the bonus money and takes a 9 box.
Tried to make the 2-7 a fit split. Went right in between it. Ended up taking just 9 for the 4th frame as Halas steps up following his second frame strike.
Right on the head pin is Hawk Halas. And another opportunity for a spare here. He's up against Joe Ashline's double mark. And Hawk makes the spare in the strike, and a chance for bonus money for Hawk Halas.
I think he got the message that Joe Ashline wasn't here to mess around today after that 134 start. So Hawk Halas is off to a good start himself with 10 and 2 spares. Strike and spare, rather.
This is a $50 shot coming right here for Hawk Halas. Bounced it down and just took one. Bounced another one. Hawks gained back 4 of the 27 he trailed after 1. Long way to go in this one as Candlepin Stars and Strikes continues in a moment from WNDS TV 50. Joe Ashline to the line in the 5th frame of the 2nd string. Joe took a 27-pin lead into the 2nd string. He's given up 4 of the pins to Hawk Halas, but still a 23-pin lead in the match. And a solid pocket shot and a strike. Little delayed action on the 4-pin. But it finally gave in.
Not much of a love tap, but just enough. 4-pin last to go.
Looking for 2 in a row, and he's got 2 in a row. Well, the next time Joe Ashline steps to the line, there'll be $1,175 on the line for Joe Ashline. Now Hawk Halas needs to mark to stay even. A little thin on the hit.
Nothing worse than being behind a handful of pins and then up against a double strike.
It's a great try by Joe, but he wasn't able to convert. $67.5 for Joe Ashline, which ain't too shabby, but he's going to find himself in a bigger hole. For Hawk Halas, I should say. He will find himself in a hole to Joe Ashline. Couldn't get the break.
A little too full on that shot. Had to be a little more to the right or to the left, either way, but didn't get it.
And a 10 box. Now everybody hold your breath as Joe Ashline steps back on the lane on lane 34. This is for $1,175. Not much more needs to be said. You watch it.
Two pins separating Joe Ashline from almost $1,200.
And that's a $50 shot right there.
An 82.5 for Joe Ashline, and 2 marks after that leads me to our next trivia question, Dick Lutz. See if you can remember what the highest single string was thrown during our regular season on Candlepin Stars and Strikes.
Can I cheat and look it up?
You can if you like, but I'll tell everybody that you did cheat.
Here's Joe looking for some more bonus money, not able to convert. $128 for Joe Ashline through 8 boxes. Highest single. I have to think about that one for a minute, Michael.
And it was not done by Gary Carrington.
Was it one of the Morgans?
It was.
I think it was.
It was. I'll give you that.
180 something.
Yes, that's correct. Double check on my cheat sheet here to make sure. And actually, I misspoke. It was Gary Carrington.
It was Gary Carrington?
Yes.
10 box for a Hawk.
The second high single went to Mike Morgan.
What was that?
That was 181.
What was Carrington's high?
182.
182.
A few trivia nuggets for you as we'll continue to share them with you over the next several weeks of the Tournament of Champions roll-offs.
Huck needs to squeeze this one through here. Played the wood. '97 through 8. A 58-pin lead in the match right now for Joe Ashline.
We don't have a mercy roll in this game, do we? It gets up to 100 pins, which I'm sure it won't.
No, but even still a 50-pin lead.
Oh.
I've seen it happen too many times. You've seen it yourself where a fellow will bowl a 150 one string and a bowl a 95 the next.
That's very true. In fact, Jeff Atkins a couple of weeks ago had a 152 game, I think it was his middle string, but had not such good games on either side of it. And even with a 152, he didn't win to advance. I think he gets our snake-bitten bowler of the year award. I think we have a category for that somewhere in our trivia.
In the pocket, solid shot in the 4-pin. Withstood the barrage. Missed it. Not by much. And he leaves it standing, a 147 second string for Joe Ashline.
.281 for 2. So he's got a really nice shot at 400. And Halas needs to go. He needs marks in a hurry.
Leaves himself a tough split. How is that for a shot for Hawk Halas? That, my friends, is a beauty. Without the advantage of Deadwood to help him out, Halas makes a very tough split in a very important situation. Now he needs a big fill and another mark to get right back into it.
It's going to have to be a split maker again. Is the wood going to be helpful? We'll see.
Just missed the object pin to slide it over. .123 for a Hawk in the second string and a 230 total. A 51-pin lead for Joe Ashline as we head to the third string of this match in our Tournament of Champions on Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV 50. WNDS TV is now available in over 1.5 million homes throughout Massachusetts and New Hampshire, and we would love to hear from each and every one of them. So why not give us an opportunity with a postcard or a letter? Send it to WNDS TV 50 Television Place, Derry, New Hampshire 03038. We'd love to hear from those of you who have been watching Candlepin Stars and Strikes throughout our series and during the Tournament of Champions as well. There's the address, WNDS TV 50 Television Place, Derry, New Hampshire 03038. Hawk Halas leads us off from the third string with a 51-pin deficit staring at him.
Did you say you wanted to get 1.5 million
Sure.
cards or letters?
No, 1,400,000 would be all right.
You work for the Postal Service by any chance?
Love to hear from people from wherever they may be watching, from all of the outposts. Hawk played the wood and didn't get the break. It's been the kind of match for him. And he'll take a 10.
51-pin deficit.
And he needs marks. Can't afford to leave pin standing like he did there. Hawk had 4 spares and a strike through the first 2 strings. While Ashline's been lighting it up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 spares and 2 strikes.
Our runner-up today wins $150. And our winner goes on to face Jay Leach, who was our 7th and final ladder champion.
Now, Hawk can't gain any ground if he doesn't mark, and he didn't mark through the first 2 frames. Ashline trying to put him away. Starts out with a spare. 10th spare of the match for Joe Ashline,
Who at this pace will have no trouble nailing 400. And then some. Well, you've got the spread eagle minus the 2-pin on the left.
Look at that for a spare for Joe Ashline. When you're hot, you're hot. And Joe Ashline has been rather warm. To kick off the backboard, and the spare for Joe. 2 marks in a row to open the 3rd string. Now Hawk finally gets a break.
Should be all right with that. I think the wood is frozen on the 6-pin.
A mark for Hawk Halas in the 3rd frame. I dare say he has to run the table here and mark out every frame the rest of the way to have a chance.
Four horsemen, right side.
Wood not a factor. Well done by Hawk Halas. 2 marks in a row for Hawk. Watch it again. He played it perfectly right in the 1-3 pocket.
I think the ball touched each pin on the way down.
Now Ashline working on 2 marks in a row. Looking for some bonus money. Leaves himself a little bit of a tough shot. Ashline's won $100 in bonus money thus far in this match. Halas has yet to tap into the bonus money.
He's got 2 in a row, so when we come back from break, he may very well do that.
That's what he was trying to do the ball before.
Yeah, there's a few pins that Hawk Halas gets back. He'll get 7 back in the 3rd frame. And a few more if Ashline doesn't mark here. Well, he gets this tremendous action on his shots, almost no matter where he puts it, unless he punches out. He's going to take extra pins.
Wood is good for him if he hits the head pin, but he didn't get the head pin. And a 9 box. And Hawk Halas works on 2 marks in a row. He looks for bonus money when we come back to Leda Lanes in Nashua as Candlepin Stars and Strikes continues on WNDS TV 50. Hawk Halas is working on 2 marks in a row, trying to win some bonus money and trying to narrow the gap. He trails by 51 pins coming into this 3rd string. He's gained back 7 plus whatever he gets on this ball. Well, he's got a chance for some bonus money.
Well, you said, Dick, a few moments ago he needs to run the table, and that's when he started laying down the spares.
And he'll take 3 spares in a row. $50 in bonus money for Halas.
This match is not over yet, folks.
Still a long way to go, but a 50-pin lead still for Joe Ashline. But Hawk Halas is trying to cash in with some bonus money.
He's definitely got the momentum going now. This could be his 4th spare in a row.
And he keeps it on the alley. 4 marks in a row. That's another $20 in bonus money for Hawk, so he's up to 70. And now puts a little pressure on Joe Ashline to do a little bowling.
It really does. And a very sour hit on that. Wow. He actually hit it in the 1-3 pocket and only took 4.
Will he get the spare? 1 pin remains. And the piece of wood is rolling out. Will it roll back in? It's going to continue in. Does it have the angle to take the pin? It does not.
Into the channel it goes.
A 9 box and a 60 half.
And the plot thickens, Dick Lutz.
Well, Joe Ashline has given back 11 pins to Hawk Halas, so it's a 40-pin lead. Halas working on a spare in the 6th frame. Ashline on the head pin.
And that is certainly not a gimme.
See how Joe plays this. Go way to the left. No. Played it to the right and leaves 1 standing. The door is open just a crack for Hawk Halas. A 9 box.
4 9s in a row for Joe Ashline. Uncharacteristic for him.
All right, now Hawk Halas. Words of encouragement from the crowd.
For those that couldn't hear, a woman yelled out, "Don't choke now." Don't know if our mics picked it up, but we did.
Here's Hawk on a spare.
Not a bad hit, but again, didn't quite get the pin action.
Punching through, so the consecutive mark string ends at 4. And a 9 box. Now Hawk can't afford to leave any more open frames. On the head pin and some dancing pins. We have not seen a lot of dancing pins over the last couple of weeks, as we did in our last ladder series. Hawk will take a spare.
He is not
spare
going away
string.
quietly. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Joe Ashline now has 4 opens in a row. He's due to break out.
1, 2, 4, and 10 still on the deck. Still on the deck as the 1 went flying around.
And he hit it where he wanted
pin.
to, I think.
Another open frame for Joe Ashline. Ashline had a 134 in the first string, a 147 in the second string, a 281 for his 2 strings. Now he has 79 through 7 boxes. Again, missing the head pin. Just caught the head pin going by that time. It's still 4 on the deck with a lot of woods. Now 3 on the deck. 88. Now Hawk Halas will finish the string.
He needs a rush. He needs probably a strike or two. But he's closed it within about 30 pins. Well, there's one. And he picks up 11 pins in the 8th frame on Joe Ashline. An amazing comeback in progress. Is there enough room left? That's the question.
I really don't think so, but I think that he's making it interesting. Yeah. He needs another strike here. There it is, right in the pocket.
Whoa!
Well, Hawk's looking for $1,175 with this shot coming up.
This will be one of the most amazing comebacks I've seen if he pulls this one off by beating Joe Ashline, who took a better than 50-pin margin, 51 pins into this last game.
It's the 7th mark of the string. Wow. For a Hawk Halas. $1,175 on this shot. On the head pin, gave it a run.
Still leaves the 6, 7, 10. 2 pieces of wood are over closer to the 7 pin. I almost wonder if he could carom the shot off that dead wood over on the left side, or if he's going to try to cut it, Dick.
That's the only way to make the shot, I think. That's not what he's trying to do. He's trying to slice it over. Look at that shot. He leaves the pin standing. For a 161.
That was a wonderful effort by Hawk Halas.
Joe Ashline needs a mark to win the match. He picks up 1 pin.
That is amazing.
Shot.
That is truly amazing. Joe Ashline needs a mark to win.
And look at this for the, would it be the mark? Is that pin going down? It's not. It is. The last one's going to go down. Will it take the 7, or the 10 rather? The 10 stays up. So he goes to the last frame needing a mark.
What a performance from Hawk Halas. Joe Ashline has now gone 7 frames without a mark after the 1st and 2nd frame spares. Zippo since then.
Needs a mark and a 3 to win. On the head pin. There's the 9-pin drop. The wood is not going to be a factor.
1 skinny pin.
Here's the match right here.
If it goes, he comes back next week, assuming he fills. He's had a couple of very peculiar first balls, leaving 2 or picking up 1 or 2. So you can't take for granted what the fill's going to be, even with the spare.
Joe's waiting for that wood to settle down.
Take all the time you need, Joe. This is the biggest shot of the match for you.
Wood is behind the pin. He bounced it. He missed it.
You believe
Hawk
that?
Halas wins the match. He came from 51 pins down to win the match.
What a stunning comeback.
A 2-pin victory for Hawk Halas, 391 to 389. What a win for Halas, a 391 win. A 2-pin victory over Joe Ashline.
Who'd have thunk it,
The
huh?
crowd is stunned.
They are.
We'll come back to meet the bowlers right after this when Candlepin Stars and Strikes continues on WNDS TV 50.
Well, one of sports' great lessons learned here today is the game ain't over till it's over.
That's very true. And no matter how far down you are, boys and girls, you've always got a chance as long as you're not mathematically eliminated. And it was only a 2-pin victory, but it was enough. And we thought that Halas was going to run out of frames, but he didn't, and ended up winning by 2 pins after being down 51.
Well, Hawk Halas will advance, and let's bring up our runner-up here this afternoon to accept the check for $150, Joe Ashline from Nashua. A lot of times people will leave a game before that last out in the 9th inning, but you never take anything for granted.
No, he bowled great at the end, and you can't miss 9 drops at the end like I did. But, I had a big lead, and you stopped bowling defensively instead of being, staying on the attack. But, hey, what are you going to do?
It was a great match. You had a couple of shots at triple strike, too. You almost had that big money, almost had the win, but almost. You could say that forever, I guess.
I still get the loser's check.
You do, and I'll hand it to you right now, $150 and $100 in bonus money, and Joe Ashline. Congratulations to you. Joe Ashline from right here at Leda Lanes. Now we'll bring Hawk Halas up, and Hawk will bowl a ball for the bonus ball contest, and we'll see if we can match him up with a winner. In the pocket, and a 6. So let's see if Mike Morin draws out a winning postcard from our bin, which is full of postcards that have been sent in over the previous weeks and through the bonus ball contest right through the Tournament of Champions. And 8 pins was the choice of Arletta Coletta of Londonderry, New Hampshire. A consolation prize of a set of mugs from N&R Trophies in Winchendon, Massachusetts. And 10 pins of bowling, courtesy of Leda Lanes, goes to Peg Senna of Melrose, Massachusetts, the second postcard drawn. And we welcome Hawk Halas and congratulate Hawk Halas. And down 51 pins when the third string began. I guess, as I mentioned to Joe, it's never over till it's over, and you just keep plugging away.
Correct. I just wanted to take one box at a time and see what would happen with Joe. Like he said, he played a little defense. He was off the hairpin a little, and I kept getting a couple of marks here. I kept grinding out 10, 15 pins here. Then in the 8th frame, I got I threw the ball good. I got a strike. Then I came back in the 9th and threw another one, and he needed a spare. He had a shot to beat me in the 10th. He had the 5-pin up, and he just went by it a little.
At what point in the third string, coming from 51 pins back, did you say to yourself, I really got a shot?
About the 5th box, 6th box. Yeah.
Well, it's a great comeback. We'll look forward to seeing you next week. Hawk Halas
Hey, Hawk.
climbs the ladder. And next week, Jay Leach waiting in the wings.
Jay Leach is another Nashua Leda Lanes bowler. He is the number 4 seed. So Hawk Halas has begun the big climb from number 7. He's already going to be facing number 4 Tournament of Champions when we come back next week.
Never leave that game until the 3rd out is recorded in the 9th inning, fans. That's what you learned here this afternoon as Hawk Halas came from 51 pins back. So next week it's Jay Leach and Hawk Halas as the Tournament of Champions continues. For Mike Morin and our entire WNDS TV 50 crew from Leda Lanes in Nashua, I'm Dick Lutz. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV 50.